3, and then start. So 3, 2, 1, go. Cool. So this is, as you said, Chamber of Secrets on Xbox. Chamber of Secrets was released on basically every console going at the time, and every single version is a different game, except for Xbox and GameCube are the same. PS2 is technically the same, but PS2 was like, it was made by a different development company, but it was based on the same assets. So it's the same game, but just rebuilt basically. But yeah, so this is any percent, so we're just going to get to the end of Harry's second year as fast as possible. Which I won't give any spoilers in case anyone hasn't read the book, which came out over 20 years ago now. I don't know. Wait, someone in chat probably knows when the book of Chamber of Secrets came out.
Except you, of course, Harry. I'm not cross with you.
Yeah, so we start off at the Burrow, which is Harry's friend's house.
You ready to do a bit of denaming then,
As you can see, it's very 2002
I've been
style.
with Dursley so much this summer, I'm a little rusty.
And unfortunately, the beginning of the game is a lot of cutscenes going on, because they have to explain a lot of stuff as the game is going.
Oh, when you're ready, we'll meet you in the barn.
A small speed strat here. If you just mash the menu button, you can skip those little pop-ups, because normally there's a cooldown where you'd have to wait for them to pop up and then press A and they go away again. But if you do the menu mashing, then they'll go away straight away. It saves like a couple of frames, but in speedrunning, frames matter. And now we're just going to kill some gnomes.
That's got one. That was pretty good, Harry.
They expect you to stand really, really far away, but if you stand like a lot further forward, you can hit them underneath rather than head on. And it just means that you can hit them when they're behind the sacks of whatever that is on their roof in their barn.
Dad tried charming it.
Now it's anything but charming.
And obviously, our first boss is a magic washing machine.
And watch out when the washing machine opens its door.
And keep moving around to
because why not?
when the door is open.
Can I get good RNG? Oh, okay, this is good RNG.
Everyone's got it beaten, Harry.
So the washing machine has two attacks. It can either do like a charging attack where it will charge at you and then knock you over and then open its door, or it can charge up a shot that it will shoot at you. If it charges up a shot,
You look like
you can hit it and then it will hit you, and then it gives you another opportunity to hit it, so you can get a double hit for one attack, which is the quickest way of damaging him. So you want to get one of each attack to have the quickest fight. There's not really too much going on at the beginning, but there's a lot going on later on in the game.
We need to get a move on.
We just have to get through. Fred and Joy showing us how to throw gnomes.
Look,
there's one over there.
What you have to do is flipendo them until they're dazed and confused. Then you grab hold of them and spin them round.
So now we learn how to chuck gnomes, which involves spinning in circles.
Wow,
and those two targets in the field, funnily enough, on the PS2 version they'll give you cards, but on the Xbox and GameCube version they give you literally nothing. Like, you don't have to aim for them whatsoever. They don't do anything. So we skip them.
You need to do better than that, Harry.
And then we have to throw, I believe it's 6 gnomes.
You need to do better than that, Harry.
Luckily, the gnomes, once you've got rid of the first couple of gnomes, they will all spawn in this bush.
You need to do better than that, Harry.
Pick up the gnome. We don't even have to spin. We can just like do like a really tiny turn, and it will still go over. In the PS2 version, you have to do like at least like one full turn before they'll go over the wall.
You need to do better than that, Harry.
Harry does need to do better than that. Harry's just terrible at gnome throwing.
Big day tomorrow.
Is he? How awful is Harry?
Platform 9 3/4. For someone who's never de-gnomed before, you've done an excellent job, Harry.
One at a time, because that's how you go when you're part of the family. You all take turns.
I think you deserve a chocolate frog.
Chocolate frogs are health in this game,
Mrs.
so
Weasley woke
if you
them
get a
all
chocolate frog,
early
it
the
increases your
following
health.
Wednesday. She took a
Although there's not
flower pot
actually
off
that
the kitchen
many
mantelpiece,
in the
and
game.
everyone grabbed a handful of flu powder.
I think actually that might be.
Had never
I think we get
travelled by
one
flu powder
in
before,
Diagon Alley, but other than that, I
and
don't
when
think
he
there are
scattered the
really
powder
any
into the
others.
fireplace, he immediately swallowed a lot of hot ash.
Yeah, I'll just reset it. It's not. We don't need to.
Felt as though
Don't need to stay
he
on
was
time
being
at all.
sucked down
Reset
a
the run.
giant plug hole. Harry tried to keep his eyes open, but the whirling made him feel sick. He closed his eyes, wishing it would
So
stop.
that's basically
and then
just a tutorial
he
teaching you how to
fell.
cast spells, how to do fights, how to target, how to throw gnomes, because that happens a lot in this game. Not in any percent, luckily, because it's the worst part of the game. But in 100% there's like a mini game where you have to do it like 5 times and it's completely RNG. Like, not even like random but controllable. Like, there's no way of controlling it and no way of sort of like working with it. So how this game, I should probably explain how this game works. So every day you get a task list that updates throughout the day, and it gives you different tasks you have to do.
Mr. Malfoy.
And once you've completed all those tasks, you can end day. Some things are obvious tasks, so like later on we'll have to learn new spells. So normally the spells or the spell challenges are a task. Some tasks are a bit weird, but you have to complete all of them. You can't skip any. You can't. There are ways to skip them, like you can skip getting this spell book here, but it means that you basically soft lock the game. Which is annoying because there's actually a skip you could do that would save like 35 minutes, but it doesn't work because of the task system in the game. Here we're meant to creep, but if we just jump, the hand can't get us. Because why bother walking slowly when you can just jump around? So yeah, so like I was saying, there's weird tasks, like opening this wall completes a task. Because it's like the task is like find a way out, and opening that wall is the trigger to complete that task. Yeah, I wish you could just jump anywhere. Oh, no, turn around. Thanks, game. Unfortunately, in this game, you can only do like little leaps or jump when you get to an edge, which means that we're quite limited in what we can do in terms of jumping. So this is the first skip coming up. We'll get him out of the way first. So normally what you're meant to do is put that imp in that cage. However, with a very precise jump here, we can grab this ledge through the wall and just jump straight up. And that was found like last year. It's quite a new discovery in the game. But it works because normally on those cages, what you'd have to do is you'd have to, if you stood up on top of them, you'd just walk off again. But if you go up on like the very edge pixels, it gives you the ability to do a jump for some reason. And then obviously you can abuse that like that to just grab the ledge.
Brilliant. Thanks, Hedwig.
It's actually a lot more precise than I made it look. You have to like line it up very well. There's like a mini setup we have, but it's not consistent because it still requires a visual lineup. Fine, it's definitely not the worst skip we have to do. That comes up in about an hour. Yeah, so now we just have to get out of here. There is technically another skip you can do in this section that saves 7 seconds, but it's frame perfect, super precise, and is really annoying, and can soft lock if you get it wrong, so we're not going to go for it. Because soft locks are not fun. A lot of this early game is just sort of like running back and forth to grab stuff because we haven't learnt any spells yet, so we can't do We can't do anything super interesting. We can pass Flipendo and light up places. So a good time to leave that area is like under 10 minutes. So you know you have a good run if you're leaving there under 10. Unfortunately, I don't have my timer going, so I have no clue what pace you're on.
Harry,
So here we have Ginny,
only
who
gone
for some
one
reason is in Hogwarts robes, even though she hasn't actually
frantic
gotten to the
with
school yet and found out her house.
What's wrong, Ginny?
But, you know, whatever, she can have Hogwarts robes, because that makes sense. They actually change it in the PS2 version. In the PS2 version, she's wearing home clothes, but they didn't do it for this one.
You, Harry, but I think you'll need to get your things first. What was on your school list?
A copy of the Standard Book of Spells, Grade 2, from Flourish and Blots, and a new potion bar from Mole Peppers.
Well, let's go
Well,
to
let's
Flourish
all
and
go to
Blots then.
Flourish and Blots then. Oh, and you might need this. It fell into the hearth when you used
We dropped
the
a sickle
flu
when we used the
powder.
flu powder.
Thanks, Mrs. Weasley.
Come on, Harry. Let's go to Flourish and Blots.
Now Harry does his creepy hand gesture. Don't know what that's meant to be, but sure, Harry. You be you. So, in terms of game history for like the development of this game, so this section, Diagon Alley, was actually the first thing made for the game. Back when the game was originally Philosopher's Stone. So this game actually started as a video game for Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. But they realised that the game wouldn't be completed in time to go with the
I'd like
movie.
to buy that, please.
So they changed it over to Chamber of Secrets. But this section was developed to sort of like show off a Philosopher's Stone style game. But actually, if you look through the windows as you go down Diagon Alley, there's a lot going on in each window, and it's because they originally had like open doors that you'd go in to go and do challenges and tasks and stuff. But they don't have them in this game, unfortunately. And we're left with some one interesting platforming area and two
Well, Harry, did you get
fairly
your
average areas.
Yes, Mrs. Weasley. I can't wait to try out what I've learned. Where did you lose your things, Ginny?
I think
We
I
can't
took my
visit the
brass
ice cream
scales
parlour.
when I passed the
No,
fire
I'm
pit to
sorry.
the Magical menagerie. My new quill definitely fell into the back of Gamble and Japes. And I'm sure I saw Hagrid when I lost my speller tape. So I think that must be in the leaky cauldron.
Magical Menagerie, Gamble and Japes, and the Leaky Cauldron. Got it.
We really appreciate
So just in case you were hoping we could explore, no, the game tells us exactly where to go.
Yes, Harry. Thanks so much. Now go on. Show us what you can do with your new spells. Bet you can smash those barrels over there.
How? We haven't told Ginny about the spell. How would she know what the spell does? So for these, we go in a certain order because we need a certain number of coins to buy the potion vial. So we go this way round. In like 2014, when other runners were doing it, they'd go the other way around. But it's a lot slower. Okay, hopefully. These barrels are always on the same cycle, so if you lose a bit of time, you'll know where they are. Here's another small skip. So normally what you're meant to do is go across a ledge and then push a block. However, because of the way the geometry is done in this room, you can go up against this ledge. So they glide along that little alcovey section, and it pushes you just far enough that you can grab the ledge on the other side. And that just skips pushing a block. And luckily we have a setup for that now. It used to be that you'd have to try and line it up and just with a blind jump, but we have a really easy setup. Honestly, Harry destroys so much in this game. Like, he's just going around. Like, we destroy him now. We need these coins. And then we're going to buy
How much are
some stink pellets.
Full sickles for
And this is a
Some
a
stink
relatively
pellets.
new addition to the route within like the last year. But you'll see why we use them a bit later on. They're not for the reason that they're meant to be used. I'll give you that much. They're meant to be to distract prefects, so you can sneak around without getting caught, but we're quick enough to not get caught anyway, so we use them for a slightly different reason. Yeah, it'd be helpful if we could give them to Ron so we could take them into the 3rd year so we wouldn't have to go around and find them in that game. This is still sort of technically the tutorial area. We're learning how to do different stuff that most of it never really comes up. Like that that bell thing that we had to push to the top to open the doorway. That's not in the rest of the game at all. So we don't come across that again.
I said we're closed now. Go away.
And then this is our introduction to sneaking.
I don't know kids today.
Obviously, sneaking is a very loose term because there's not really any point in this game where you have to purposely avoid things. You can basically just run in a straight line and not ever get caught. There's a couple which are a bit more complex, but they're not super hard. The PS2 version has really hard reflex settings. Like, it's really easy to get caught. If anyone's played the PS2 version of this game, it is basically a different game.
Ginny's brass scales.
And that's all of Ginny's stuff. So now we can go and give it to Ginny. Well, no, we have to go and buy Potion Vial first, and then go give it to Ginny. Yeah, see, he doesn't ever catch you. He's blind and deaf, apparently. Yeah, PS2 is a more, sort of like, they put a lot more like care into making sure that stuff wasn't broken and couldn't be skipped, and that the geometry worked.
Excuse me, how much is this potion vial?
It costs 8 sickles.
And this is why we
I'd
get all
like
the
to buy
sickles,
that,
because we need
please.
them for this potion vial.
Thank you. You're very welcome to fill your potion.
We won't be
vial
filling it up
with
here, though,
Wigan
because we
World
might need to
standard
die
potion. The Wigan
in a
World's
sec.
in the large cauldron over there.
And luckily there's a cauldron just after the point where we would have to possibly kill ourselves. Now we can go and give Ginny all her stuff back.
Harry.
I found all your things, Ginny.
Oh,
And they just
Harry,
magically
it's
like
so
float on top of each other.
wonderful.
No,
Also, that
really,
is some
it was
big
lovely.
sellotape.
You're such a kind boy, Harry. Here, have a chocolate frog for your efforts.
Thanks, Mrs. Weasley.
Gilderoy Lockhart signing copies of his latest book in Florida.
And I think that is,
We were thinking of
unless I'm
going to
mistaken, I
see
think
him.
that's the last
Would you like
chocolate
to
frog
come
in the
with us,
game.
Harry?
Oh, well,
Someone correct me if I'm
okay
wrong.
then. Thanks.
Let's go inside.
I believe it is.
Great Scott! Is that... No, surely not. It is. It's Harry Potter!
And now we meet Gilderoy Lockhart, who comes up in the game like twice.
Ladies and
So
gentlemen,
enjoy him while you
this
can.
is the perfect moment for me to make an important announcement. I have great pleasure in announcing that this term, I will be taking up the post of Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher at
It's a very
Fox's School
crowded
of
shop,
Witchcraft
like there are
and
so many
Wizardry.
people there listening to him. Look, there's Lucius and Draco, Harry.
Bet you love that,
Ginny.
didn't you, Potter? Famous Harry
That's
Potter.
it.
Can't
That's
even
it, there's
go
no one
into a
else.
bookshop without making the front page.
Leave him alone. He didn't want all that.
Potter's got a girlfriend.
I suppose your parents will go hungry for a month to pay for all the books you're going to need at Hogwarts. Here, girl, take
Oh no, there's a
this
shopkeeper
one.
as well who hasn't
It's
moved.
the least I can do to help out the poor.
Sorry, I forgot about the
needy.
shopkeeper. And Ginny's just like, bye.
Let me give you some coaching, Harry. Fame is a fickle friend, and I would encourage you to be careful how you play the
As much as I
game,
love
so
this
to
game, the
speak.
cutscenes
Be
just make
sparing
no
with your
sense
public
a lot of the time.
appearances At first, and watch the company you keep.
And this is awful.
Why, I remember the time when I was writing my second bestseller, Gadding with Cools.
Harry, we've
missed the train!
I believe the more exposure I got...
So in the
to
PS2
the
version, they say this dialogue sort of like on top of each other.
trouble was I became
So it's like Lockhart's talking and they're talking over him, but in this version, for some reason, they decided not to do that.
Mysteriously missing for
So they
3
just sort of like
Oh no!
take turns talking.
subsequently leaking the story to the Prophet.
Well, I know that Dad took the flying car to work this morning. It's parked in Charing Cross Road.
That I'd been captured by trolls in the wilds of Stockton-on-Tees.
Okay, it's our only chance of getting to school on time.
Or you
I
could ask the
managed to
teacher
regain
that's
my
standing
former
right in front of
prominent
you.
Position as the world's most popular wizard.
Steal a car and try and fly it to school, or just talk to the teacher.
Oh.
Also, unfortunately, for anyone who's a fan of Dobby, Dobby is not in this game at all. Which is sad, because Dobby's the best character. But he doesn't make an appearance.
Ready to go to Hogwarts, Harry?
You know, Ron, I'm really not sure about this.
We've got to get to school, haven't we? And even underage wizards are allowed to use magic if it's a real emergency. Section 19 or something of the...
Yeah, if the choice is talk to your
restriction
teacher
thingy.
or
You're sure
steal a
you're
magical
right,
flying car, drive it over London to
What's it
school,
look like?
go for the
You're
car, it's more
right,
fun.
aren't I?
Yeah, I suppose. So far.
We have another... Sort of like...
Harry!
It's not minus skip, it saves like 45 seconds.
Uh-oh!
But it's the first example we have of like proper out of bounds.
Oof!
Hopefully it goes okay, because if I get it wrong, I'll fall into the void and have to start again.
Ron, where are you?
And I have bad luck at marathons with this skip.
Here, Harry! The Whooping Willow's got me! Don't worry, Ron. I'll come
Come
and
and
get
get you,
you.
just hold on.
I can't do anything else. Hurry up, Harry!
What we do is we wait here. There we go. So we use that to clip down into the tree. Concentrate quickly. Cool. Out of bounds movement's quite weird. Like Harry doesn't just walk properly. He does like weird movements. We have to be very careful with how we move. But that just allows us to skip having to go all the way around the tree and back again. And like I said, it saves like 45 seconds. It's a nice skip to have. And then here's another instance of something that appears and doesn't really appear again. Oh no. You have to go really far out of your way to hit that cutscene. I don't know why they put it so far away. Then we have some more. They appear once and then they're gone enemies. Like genuinely, I believe that is basically the only time they turn up. Here you're meant to fight more of those imps, but you can just skip it. Like you do not need to do it whatsoever. And then we can just mash A here and get through the hole without destroying the mushroom. Which is something I found out you could do very recently by watching someone else's run.
Is there some kind of weak spot on the
Because
tree that does the spell at?
we've actually changed to timing loadless for these games because GameCube and Xbox have quite a big difference in loads. Xbox loads 14 minutes faster than GameCube over an any percent run, which is a lot of time. So we actually do loadless timing. So when I was retiming some runs for that, I was watching a run and I was like, wow, you can do that. Yeah, it's a ridiculous number of loads. Like time the average load on Xbox is like 4 minutes, and on GameCube is like 14. There's a lot of time. And then so GameCube and Xbox functionally are the same game. The main differences are that Xbox lags a lot less. GameCube has a lot of lag in certain places. And GameCube actually has an exclusive trick that you can do. That saves like 1.5 minutes on GameCube, but it's unsure whether the lag is enough to offset that or not. No one really knows. At the moment, it hasn't been timed like really rigorously. It's hard to time things like lag though, because they change every run as well. World record at the moment is on GameCube though, but it's only 6 seconds faster than the Xbox record.
Oof! Thanks, Harry. Much appreciated. Oh, it was nothing. Anyway, we better get a move on. We don't want Professor Snape catching us out so late. Why don't you try that door, Harry?
Yeah. It's annoying because it's a cool skip as well on the GameCube. And it's really precise as well, so it's cool to get it first try in a run.
Let's just hope he's left because he missed out on the defense
But
against
it
the
requires doing like you have to do a stair glitch where you like step down steps sideways so you clip into the steps, which isn't possible on the Xbox for some reason. No one's really sure why.
We
In my search of the grounds, I noticed that considerable damage seems
here's
to
Snape
be done to a very
with his luscious
valuable
locks.
Whomping willow. I will be speaking with Professor McGonagall later.
That tree did more damage to us than we...
Silence.
I would advise you both to make your way immediately to the Gryffindor common room.
Another thing they changed between GameCube and GameCube, Xbox, and PS2. That actually is quite bad. Is GameCube and Xbox when you're outside Hogwarts, you can't really explore anything. It's all done by like
Come on, Harry.
warps.
I'll meet you outside the entrance hall.
Outside the front door, there's a couple of warps, and they warp you to different areas of the grounds. Whereas on PS2, the entire grounds are explorable. You can actually run around the grounds on PS2. I mean, theoretically, there's a glitch you can do to run around the grounds on Xbox and GameCube as well. And it all has collision on GameCube and Xbox because when you fly, later on in the game, you can fly around outside. It has collision so that you can't just fly through the floor. But it's not normally explorable. Now we see why we use the stink pellets. So coming up here, we have a cutscene. And by throwing a stink pellet, as a cutscene loads on the grand staircase, it skips the cutscene. And it only works on the grand staircase. Nowhere else in the entire game. Just here. And what it does is there's meant to be a cutscene here as well. But because we skip the first cutscene, it basically unloads all cutscenes on the map. So we don't hit that cutscene either, which is nice. Because GameCube lags more, those cutscene skips are easy on GameCube than they are on Xbox, because the cutscenes load quicker on Xbox.
Wow, I must go and see them. Where are they?
Yeah, Harry just magically knows what the password is. He's like, oh yeah, it's
portrait on the other side.
yeah, it's this. I'm just gonna guess.
What's the password?
Liberty Gibbet.
Oh, and watch out for Percy. He hates being disturbed when he's studying.
Those are both quite short cutscenes though. There's one later on which is a lot longer, which is sort of the reason we wanted to skip those. The reason we looked into it is because there was a runner who was doing a run and his game lagged during the loading of one of the cutscenes, and it skipped the cutscene.
Finally made it then.
And we weren't able to get it to work again, so we have a guy called Grandpa Glasses, who is a tasser, who's found a lot of tricks in all 3 of the games. But he looked at it and he found out you could use stink pellets or luminous balloons to skip the cutscenes, so luckily we skipped like 3.5 minutes of unplayable cutscene, which is very nice. And like I said earlier, if you'd skipped any of those tasks, so like if we'd skipped the Lumos spellbook at the beginning, we would basically soft lock there. We wouldn't be able to end day, and we wouldn't be able to go back. Or we'd be completely stuck forever.
Class we've got first?
So you can complete. You can make an uncompletable file by saving the game in the right places. Now we just have a lot of flying in a sec. Gonna head all the way down to the training grounds and then work out how broom control works. There's another cutscene on the stairs here. It is possible to skip that cutscene by going down a secret passage, which is what we used to do before the cutscene skips were discovered. But you can just throw a stink pellet and it does the same thing, and it's quicker. The reason we use stink pellets rather than luminous balloons is because the stink pellet animation is like a second quicker than the luminous balloon animation. And over the run, that's like, what is 7 seconds? And stink pellets are easier to get. Oh, so we're going to do a couple of learning things to learn how to fly, and then we have a challenge where we have to get as many rings as possible. If you play really, really well, you can get up to like mid 50s, I believe, is like the best I've done.
Fly up and hover a few feet from the ground.
So if anyone wants to guess what score I'm going to get on the fly ring challenge, feel free to guess.
Fly back down to the ground.
It's what I do every time I run this game with my chat. No, I don't believe you can find luminous balloons in Diagon Alley either. You have to go into classrooms and get them out of desks, which is also slower as well.
You see before you a course comprised of enchanted rings. What you must do is to fly through as many of these rings as possible in the correct order. You ready, Potter? Begin.
So here we learn how to fly. The rings always load 3 ahead, so you can skip some by sort of just taking slightly tighter corners. Like here, we'll skip all of these.
Right. Now for the examination, where a grade will be awarded depending on how well you complete the course. You must fly
so here we
through
go.
as many rings as you
Going
can
to
in
fly
a
through
set
these
time.
rings.
I've created several new enchantments for the rings, causing some to move and others to shrink as you approach them. When you're ready, Mr. Potter, you may begin.
Cool, so if anyone guesses 0, that would be the correct answer. Madame Hooch has different dialogue she has for each grade she gives you. So you can get like a D up to a distinction. And it just so happens that the dialogue she gives you for a D is the shortest dialogue. So we can just sit here and not fly through any rings at all. Which means we can also enjoy the beautiful surroundings of Hogwarts. We can't fly too far away. Also, for some reason, let's see if they're doing it on this version. They're not. On GameCube, for some reason, Harry and Ron like float in the air. Like they float like a couple of centimeters above the ground for some reason.
Not bad. You receive a D.
Thank you.
If you want to try and improve your flying grade, come back and see me here at any time of the day.
You don't ever have to do that. Even in 100%, 100% doesn't require you to get all the top grades in your lessons. Because there's one later on that's really RNG dependent. Like, you can just basically not be able to get it.
Gryffindor.
And they don't, it was decided that they don't really give you anything.
Hufflepuff.
They're not in the requirements.
Ravenclaw.
These cutscenes have RNG in them. The number of points that the other houses get is random within a certain range. And depending on what number it gives you, it can take longer or shorter to fill up the hourglass and to spin the wheels at the bottom, because sometimes they spin like a lot more than they need to get all the way around to a number.
Harry,
So that cutscene can have like
I've been looking for.
I think the biggest difference I've had on a split is like 5 seconds difference, just from cutscene
And I suppose
RNG.
you want me to get him out?
Would you? That's so kind of you,
A D isn't
Harry.
bad. A
He's
D's
out
okay.
here.
I mean, that's what everyone's getting at the moment on their A levels.
Neville? How did you end up back there?
He was looking for Trevor, his toad, and he went
So
the
welcome
wrong
to
way.
the
Now
stupidest
he's stuck.
task in any Harry Potter
Can't
game.
you get him out, Hermione?
Neville has got himself
No, I
stuck
tried
behind this
everything.
tapestry.
We need a Severin charm.
He can't get out because
Where
apparently
am I
you
going
can't
to
move a
find one of
tapestry.
those at this time of
Cloth's
night?
apparently really hard to move.
Greenhouse 3 in the grounds.
Later on,
To get
when we
in,
cut
you're
it
going
down,
to
we'll
have to find out
notice
how
that
to
there
pull
are
up
no
book
other doors into the
If you
room
go to
behind
the
that
library, there's an
tapestry.
excellent book by Professor
There's no other way to
Lockhart.
get in, so he went
That'll tell
in
you how
past
to
the
do it.
tapestry.
Okay.
And then
so
can't get
I've got
back.
to go into the library on the second floor and get a copy of Lockhart's book.
It's stupid.
And then go
It's
out
a
into the
stupid
grounds
task.
and find my way into the herbology greenhouse to get the Severin charm.
Yes.
What did he say?
Hurry up.
Neville's always involved in the stupid tasks though. There's one in Prisoner of Azkaban where he gets cornered by a ghoul. And you have to go and like save him from the ghoul. And it's just like to get you out of the common room for a cutscene and story progression. Yeah, exactly. He glitched in. He clipped in. He can't get out again because he had no clip on and now he doesn't. There's another cutscene here. This one's probably the hardest one to skip. Oh, got it. I always think it's lower down than it is. You can do it like near the top of the stairs. On GameCube, I think it's slightly lower down. You have to do the cutscene skip. And that skips meeting the snake. Well, meeting the snake's a bit of a exaggeration. That skips you hearing the snake for the first time. So we don't actually know there's a snake at the moment. Cool, so that is a book that we have to read to be able to pull up orc lumps. And we do that once in the game. Again, it's a huge waste of time. There's a lot of that. Now we're going to go and grab the Findo so we can free Neville by cutting down the tapestry rather than just like moving it slightly out of the way. There's not a huge amount going on here, we're just walking all the way to the greenhouse. So theoretically, it is possible, using glitches in the game, to come here straight after getting to Hogwarts for the first time, after the Whomping Willow, and get straight into this greenhouse, and you can actually grab the Findo early. However, because of the way, like I said earlier, the game works with a tasks list, it soft locks the game. If the task list wasn't an issue, we could do it very easily. You know, now we learned the Findo. And we're going to put it over Lumos because we still need the stink pellets. Take 1 damage there, it's just easier. Yeah, so that's the only time we will see those Hawk Clump pulling up things. But now we can finally go back and free Neville. And like I said, on PS2, normally you'd have to run across the entire grounds and there's prefects and it's scary. On this version, there's no prefects anywhere, really. Which just makes everything 10 times easier. For anyone who's like wondering, the PS2 world record is like 1 hour and 15 minutes longer than the Xbox world record. And that's because there are no skips and because the loading screens on PS2 are insane. Like, honestly, they're like 45-second long loading screens. They're ridiculous. So there's another cutscene skip here. And that means that because we got all the cutscene skips, we never meet Nearly-Headless Nick. Like, there's like 4 separate cutscenes on the stairs where we talk to him, but because we used those cutscene skips, we never meet him. So we just skipped a cutscene there where it's like, he's been petrified, he's been attacked by the snake. And normally we'd get taken to Dumbledore's office, and he'd ask us if we know anything, but that takes a lot of time. Like a 1.5-minute cutscene. And we don't have time for that. This is a speed run.
Thanks, Harry. I thought I was never going to get out of there.
Nice one, Harry. Well, all this excitement has worn me out. I think I'll head off to bed.
But Hermione, Nearly-Headless Nick has been
There we go.
attacked, and I... Oh,
Nearly-Headless Nick has been
I'll tell you
attacked,
in
but
the
we
morning.
didn't see it. We haven't met him yet, but he has been attacked.
Gryffindor. Hufflepuff. Ravenclaw.
The other houses can't have more points than you, which is nice. Like, if you lose points, the other houses will also lose points to be lower than you. You can't ever lose the House Cup. I feel like it's a bit rigged, but, you know. I'm not going to complain because I win the House Cup.
Hello, Hermione. Do you know what lesson we've got first thing?
It's Defense Against the Dark Arts, Harry, with Gilderoy Lockhart. I can't wait.
Me neither.
I'll meet you on the 3rd floor outside the Defense Against the Dark Arts class.
Thanks, Hermione. It is very rigged. Like, who cares? Who cares? It's fine. We get to win it, so it doesn't matter at the end of the day. No, so now we have our first actual lesson with Gilderoy Lockhart, and this, I believe, this lesson is the last time we see him in the game. Because why bring back characters that people recognise? And Harry doesn't get a seat. Harry just has to awkwardly
Can everyone
stand.
see me? Can you all hear me? Excellent. This term I shall be teaching dueling. Let me introduce you to my assistant, Professor Snape. Now, Harry Potter, if you'd like to come forward, the Expelliarmus spell challenge is through here. What you have to do is to find the Expelliarmus spellbook somewhere beyond the portrait. Once you have the spellbook in your possession,
oh, let's go.
The Expelliarmus spell will be yours to use as you
It's so long before we get to the first spell challenge. And we already know 3 spells by this point.
I suppose that Expelliarmus...
So this challenge
Stairs.
introduces a lot of stuff. You have there's like giant spiked balls you have to knock down using Diffindo. There's fire turtles, fire crabs actually, sorry. There are fire spewers that you have to hit with Flipendo to make them move in a different direction. So you'd have to go like all the way around this challenge, through some separate rooms, do some puzzles. There's some putting imps in cages. There's a lot going on in this challenge. We're going to start off here by fighting some spiked balls. Because why not? Oh. You want them to group up like that because it means you can hit them easier. Oh, that was annoying. Okay, it went straight up straight away again, so it's fine. So what we're going to do here, climb all the way up here. And then all that stuff I said about the challenge isn't really true, because we can just grab this invisible ledge here. Line up here. That's not good. Oh, that was a bad angle. Try that again. We'll pretend that didn't happen. I've not failed that in a while. Grab this invisible ledge. There we go. And then just step down through the wall, which makes sense. And that just skips the entire challenge. And here we have to be careful because the camera, like that, just randomly turns. And it's really stupid. That wasn't the best Expelliarmus, but we'll take it because it's a marathon. And we have to. So then we introduce to a gargoyle. And these appear a lot. In any percent, we fight 3, I believe. We used to fight... You're meant to fight 5. And then for a while we fought 4. Since like 2014 we fought 4. And then last year we worked our way of skipping another one, so we only fight 3. GameCube only fights 1, because GameCube has the exclusive trick on GameCube skips another 2 of them. And that's Expelliarmus. So we just skip the entire challenge, basically. I need to get my glass bottle so I can fight the gargoyles properly. Get my light arrows and my glass bottles.
Well done, Potter! 40 house points for Gryffindor! Now, I'd like you to use the Expelliarmus spell you've just acquired in a
so I'll show off a trick here that doesn't
here.
save any time, and it actually loses time, but it's really stupid that it's in the game.
Is to gain 5 points.
Like, should not have been missed.
Very well then. One's at the ready. When I count to 3.
Scared, Potter? You wish.
So this fight's really easy because you can just spam Flipendo. Wait for him to knock over again. So here. Oh, that was not good. For some reason that cupboard is still active. And what it means is that you get clipped into Draco's side of the field. So you can actually just run around Draco's side. And like I said, it loses time because it's just quicker to stand on the other side, but it's a stupid thing that is in the game.
You're a parcel mouth, Harry. Why didn't you tell us?
I'm a what? A parcel mouth? You can talk to snakes.
So? Does it matter?
It matters, Harry. Because being able to talk to snakes
Draco is
what
awful
Salazar
at it.
Slytherin was famous for.
Like, I
That's
went and
why
stood on
Slytherin's
his side of the
Slytherin
dueling
house is a
field.
servant.
I broke the
Now
rules
whole
and he
school's
still
going to
lost.
think you're his great
How bad do you have to be at dueling?
grandson or
To
something.
lose to someone who just breaks
But
all the
I'm
rules.
You'll find that hard to prove. He lived about 1,000 years ago. For all we know, you could be.
Anyway, we've got Quidditch practice next at the Quidditch Stadium.
A lot of this game is just Harry basically being like, what? What? Ooh. Yeah, the joys of being a British runner is you can make fun of the voices in the game and sound like the voices. I'm a what? Does it matter? Yeah, parcel mouth. Oh. On most days there's like a group of students in that corridor, but for some reason they're not there. So now we're going to learn how to play Quidditch. We've learned how to fly. And Quidditch is possibly the worst thing in this game.
We're going to make sure
like,
we win the Quidditch
genuinely
Cup this year, and the way
the
we're going
worst
to
thing
do
in this
that is
game.
practice,
And we do it
practice,
4
practice.
times.
First, a quick recap
Technically
of
5
what
times,
we
because
learned
we do it twice in a row here.
I'll start with the Seeker. Over here, Potter. Now watch carefully. That's good, Harry. Flying through
So the
each
actual
ring makes you go
flying
faster
through the
and
rings
increases
part
the
is
magical
not
charge in
bad.
the brim.
It's the catching the snitch part that's bad, and I will show you why when we get to the snitch. These pathways are they're technically random, but they're not. They're from like a set
You'll see the magical charge
grouping of paths.
too. You can see this in the
So the number of
trail
paths
leaving in the air behind
you can have is like, I believe in this first one is like 3 or 4. I don't think there's that many. And some of them are more complex than others, so some of them you struggle keeping up. Some of them are quite easy. Here we will delay the boost until we're getting a bit closer to the snitch. If we boost straight away, we don't have enough power to reach the snitch yet. Cool. So this is the part that's bad. So this snitch flies around, and its path is completely random. And Harry has like lag on when you press A, he'll like whack his arm up and then whack it forward. And in that time, the snitch can fly away. So there's no way of predicting when the snitch will be in front of you.
You know the score.
You just have to mash A and blindly hope he catches the snitch.
All you have to do is catch the snitch.
And that can actually, if you take too long catching the snitch flies away and you have to chase it again. And so the world record at the moment is in loadless timing is a 1:51:04, I believe, or 1:06. That run loses 3.5 minutes to RNG on Quidditch, and there's a boss fight later on. But mostly Quidditch. It loses a ton of time because it just wouldn't catch the snitch. Hey, sign. Please catch it, Harry. Please catch it, Harry. Thank you. Yeah, so sometimes you'll like do it
Superb
8 or 9 times and
Harry.
you just won't catch it and it'll fly away.
A+. And because of that excellent performance,
There's only
Harry,
3
here's a
more though
brand
in the
new
game,
Nimbus
so
2000 to take with you.
hopefully they go okay
You'll
for
be
the rest
able
of the
to fly
game.
anywhere around the grounds, but try not to crash into
I still
too
argue
many
that because we do
towers.
loadless
If
time,
you
we
want
can
to
just
try and
cut these
improve
from the
your
game as
Quidditch
well.
practice grade, come back and
But
see me
no,
here at any time of
actual
the day.
gameplay. And that is the reason we don't have distinctions as a requirement in 100%, because you can,
Malfoy showed up while you
even
were
playing
passing
perfectly, you can be screwed out of a
It's been made
distinction
simpler.
by the
Half
snitch just
that
not
was
cooperating at all.
team with a whole set of Nimbus 2001s.
I've had Quidditch matches last. I've lost Quidditch matches because it wouldn't catch the snitch. Yes,
A mudblood.
I've
It's a really
gone into it like 4
disgusting
times
name
and
for someone
haven't
who's
caught it and
more
lost a Quidditch match.
There are some wizards, like Malfoy's family, who think they're better than
My
everyone.
very first 100% run of this game actually went back when the world record after that run was like a 4:53. I lost the very last Quidditch match 4 hours into the run,
Suppose you're right.
and that meant I didn't win the Quidditch Cup, which is a requirement for 100%. So that run died. But it's a tough, tough thing. It's just awful. So here we have cutscene RNG again.
Hufflepuff.
Like you see there, because it was 119, it had to spin the middle one one extra rotation round to get to the number. Like there, that was short because it was a 3.
Slytherin.
Well, I lost time in that first one, but didn't lose any time in the second one. Gnome throwing can go away. Gnome throwing is awful. It is the worst thing about 100%, hands down. It's like, so at the beginning of the run, if people were here, you have to throw some gnomes, and it's basically that, but you have to throw them through rings that are flying around in the air. But the rings' positions are RNG, their paths are RNG. The camera is in like this awful like overhead angle, so you can't really see what the distance is. And if you let go of A, like within a couple of frames, the angle that you throw the gnome can change wildly.
Second floor, past the
So
library.
it's awful.
Thanks, Harry.
And the worst thing is that it costs money to do. So if you fail one, you have to go and get more money, and money routing in this game is ridiculously strict. Like, you can only hold 100 beans at a time for the majority of 100%. And sometimes they can cost like 20, 30. So, we are now going to the restricted section. So you can get into this area that we're going to now as soon as you get to Hogwarts. And it is possible to complete it and get out the other side. But unfortunately, because of the task list system, we can't do that in a run because it soft locks the game. But that would save like 25-30 minutes.
Right. Somewhere around here.
Here we do more sneaking, but not really.
There's someone round here. There's someone round here.
So that we hide around the corner so he can try and catch us and then run away. Yeah, unfortunately in this game, if you want to farm beans, there's like a task method you can do, which is completely reliant on RNG. And I've never RTA had good RNG practicing that. And then there's a room where you can get 30 beans and then go out and in and you get them again and again, so you can just farm beans. But it takes a while. So here we have RNG climbing. So these books, their positioning is completely RNG again. It's not too bad because you can just work around it. Okay, hopefully I can get across before it comes back. Cool. So you can go past as they're going in. But sometimes they'll pop out really quickly, so sometimes you can get hit as they're coming back out. You have to be very careful, because if you get hit, you take damage. If you take too much damage, you could potentially die. That's not going to have enough time. In an actual run, I wouldn't have grabbed a potion, so this is quite dangerous. Normally, it's a marathon run, so I'm going to grab a potion, because I don't want to die. Yeah, see, like that, it came out straight away. So there was no way of predicting that. But the rest of the books have been really fast, so it's not too bad to get hit a couple of times. Luckily, if you get hit, when they come back, they get stuck, so you just go out again. And those chests have health in, so if you take too much damage, you can grab some quick health if you need to. I'll wait for this one to come back out again. probably going to pop straight back out. Yeah. Luckily, it gave us just enough time to get past. That was a very good book climb, actually. Only 2 hits, and everything else was quite fast. Well, that is perfectly fine. Now we're going to grab owl treats. This is... I believe you can only do this like 3 times in the game. No, 4. There's 1 in the library, sorry. There's 4 in the game. 2 are required. 2 are optional.
Hedwig!
I have to remember to actually feed Hedwig because I forget to feed him too often.
Here you go.
So the intended progression here for the game is that we grab Hogwarts of History from up here, then we have to go and grab another spell.
Brilliant.
We use that spell
Thanks,
on
Hedwig.
that green goo. We go into like a challenge room where there's 4 separate rooms we have to complete and press a switch in, and then we have a duel like the one with Malfoy, but with I believe it's Crab, one of the 2. And then we go to another room, and then there's a block pushing puzzle where you have to push a block and then do some more Scourge walls. You have to press some switches and then you can get out. So that's what is intended to happen. But we'll see what happens. Without spoiling too much. Because coming up we have one of the coolest tricks if it works properly, but it's also one of the most frustrating to get to work. As anyone else who has run this game would be able to tell you. It is a stupid trick. And if someone could find a better way of clipping out of bounds in this game, please do. Please, I am begging everyone. So now we've got our book. What we're going to do is we're going to go over to that ladder that Hedwig brought down. And we're going to climb up it. Hopefully this works. It can take a couple of tries, but we'll see. Let me just concentrate on getting this and then I'll talk. This is the most thrilling part of the game. That's 5. 6. 7. 8. This might take a couple of tries, so 9. It's worth it though, I promise. 10. 11. 12. The longest it's taken in a very long time. 13. 14. 15. Wow, this trick is really not being nice to me today. 16. 'Oh, this is not going well at all. Normally it takes like 3 to 5 times.
How on earth do I get out of
But
here?
we're not going well. I'll explain it after I get the trick, because actually It looks like I'm just sort of like climbing up and down a ladder, but it does make sense. Oh. This is ridiculous. This never takes this long. Someone's patched the game, obviously. Wow. Come on, Harry. There we go. Let me just get this set up. Nice, cool. So it's definitely worth it. But so basically with ladders, when you climb up or down a ladder, on the very last frame of climbing up or down a ladder, if you go from holding a direction to holding neutral, it clips you out of bounds for some reason. But what that does is it warps you to like a set coordinate that the game's decided already. So for that one, it's just behind where that bookcase is. And then from there, we can jump all the way to where the end portal is. So like where we'd normally go to leave the level. And it's actually very precise. Like if we miss that, we softlock the game because there's no way of getting back in bounds from that point. And there's no save books anywhere in that restricted section, so we can't save before the trick either. But luckily there is a consistent setup to get over to that entryway.
Slytherin ambushed me.
Crikey!
Yeah, the reason it's so precise is because you're doing like a frame perfect analog input. And the game doesn't really have pause buffering. You can pause buffer, but it's not consistent and you risk potentially quitting out of the game.
Helga Hufflepuff, Rowena Ravenclaw, and Salazar Slytherin.
No, there's only void outs in rooms where void outs are intended.
Seeking out youngsters with magical abilities.
So like, if you get out of bounds in Expelliarmus or
but a rift began to grow
Incendio
between Slytherin and the others.
later on, and you go to near where the void out area is, you will void out.
Restricted to all magic families, and that no students of non-magical parentage should be admitted. Eventually, a serious argument on
That I
subject
believe that
caused
was like
Slytherin to leave the school.
25 tries at
He built a
Scourge,
secret
which is
chamber in the castle of which the
like
other
a
founders
2.5 minute time loss.
According to the legend, Slytherin sealed this chamber of secrets.
But it's
so
fine.
no
Everything
one
else
would
has
be
gone
able
well
to
so far in the
open
run,
until
so
his own true heir arrived at the school.
I can't complain too much.
The heir alone would be able to unseal the chamber, unleash the horror within, and use it to purge the school of
Now we
all
learn
who
all
are
about
unworthy
Hogwarts.
to study magic.
Blimey! I always knew Salazar Slytherin was a
twisted old loony.
But I never knew he'd started all this pure blood mudblood stuff.
It sounds to me like the horror within mentioned in the book is a monster that only the heir of Slytherin can control.
But what kind of monster?
The kind of monster that can petrify a ghost.
Thanks, Hermione.
All this talk of monsters is giving me the creeps. I'm off to bed.
Cool. Because we have to re-equip stink pellets here. Because we'll need them in a sec.
Gryffindor.
But doing that skip, we actually skipped learning a spell because normally you'd go and get Scourge.
Ravenclaw.
For any percent, that's actually not super important because we don't ever actually use that spell. But we do actually get given the spell automatically by the game anyway. Even if we did need it, we can still use it, which is nice. Because it means that if you're doing 100%, we have two different categories for 100%. We have 100% and 100% no source requirement. So it's similar to Ocarina of Time.
First floor. I'll meet you there.
So you can skip a couple of spells in this game and get them given to you, but for 100% source requirement, you have to grab the spells from the source.
Hello, Harry.
Oh, I forgot.
People are saying
Forgot to skip the
you're the heir of
cutscene.
Slytherin.
I always do
Is it
that
true?
in runs.
And did you really order that
You can
snake
skip
to
this
attack your
cutscene using stink
classmates?
pellets, but
None of it's
we can get some
true.
nice story.
And I didn't order the snake to attack my classmates. I told it to leave them alone.
I'll believe you, Harry, though thousands wouldn't.
Thanks, I guess. Bit of a backhanded compliment. Oh, so now we have Avifors, which used to be like the worst spell challenge in the entire run. Like, there's a lot of RNG going on. There's like a really stupid platforming section which can screw you over a lot. Yeah, basically, he's like, I believe you, but you know, it's a stupid story.
Good morning. Today we shall learn the transfiguration spell known as Avifors. Avifors will allow you to transform small objects, such as the parts of the statue,
this spell
into
challenge
birds. This is achieved
casually
like
not
so.
very fun.
Avifors. You will
Because
now
there's
see that a cross has been revealed in the wall.
ghosts that fly around the
Beyond
room
this is the
and they
Avifors
can damage you.
challenge. Mr.
And there's these
Potter,
really long
come
walls you have to
forward,
sidle
please.
along, and the ghosts can hit you while you're on those walls, and there's no way of avoiding them.
The Avifors spellbook is
So
located
like
on
you
the other side of this
physically
scroll
cannot
space.
avoid taking damage, so
Find
you can
it,
possibly
and the
die
spell
just
will
by
be yours.
being
You must
hit
then
by
return
ghosts
here to the
continuously
classroom.
without being able to do
Yes,
anything.
Professor.
Off you go.
It's really good game design. And like I said, there's a platforming section where the platforms are all around the edge of a room, and the area between the platform and the wall, like closest to the wall, isn't grabbable. If you jump too far angled, you fall down without grabbing the ledge. Luckily, we don't have to worry about any of that, because we can just do this. We grab an invisible ledge there. Then we grab the ledge there. Hit the flipendo switch. Grab this banister. And get our bounds. And just leave. We're not doing the challenge. Who does challenges? And unfortunately, we have to go back into the classroom and leave again for it to register as being completed. If we don't do that, the game won't let us progress. Yeah, so that was, for a very long time, considered TAS only. It was found a couple of years ago now. Because it was thought at first that you had to use a glitch called L sliding, which requires doing like 3 or 4 frame perfect inputs in a row without any sort of cue, without any sort of like a visual cue. But we worked out that you don't need to do those L slides if you have the right positioning. So over a couple of days, I did a lot of testing for setups, and I found there's been like 8 iterations of the setups. But that is the most recent one. It's the quickest. It's the easiest one to do. It's super easy now, actually. I say that I've jinxed every single one I'm going to do from now on. But it's definitely one of the easier tricks in the run now, I think, personally. Also, yeah, because we did that skip, normally there's a cutscene in the classroom where we get given our score, and then Oliver Woods comes in and is like, you have Quidditch. But because we skipped other cutscenes, it deloads all the cutscenes again. So it means that that cutscene doesn't load. So it does like a thing where it's like, oh, we're meant to be loading a cutscene and warping you, but we can't. Where is... Yeah, hopefully I have enough speed to catch it. Cool. Please catch the snitch, Harry. Come on. Thank you. That's basically how you want Quidditch to look every time. But that's not going to happen. Once again, showing off how broken Quidditch is because we caught the snitch and it won the entire game.
You're worn out after that. I am. I'm going to bed.
And every day ends with Ron saying, "I'm going to bed."
Gryffindor. Hufflepuff. Ravenclaw.
I think that is like the last... no, it's not the last big skip, actually. Ignore that.
Slytherin.
I lie. I clearly know the game. Yeah, so see there, for example, the RNG was really bad, so the wheel spun round an extra whole rotation, which loses quite a few seconds. See, this game has a great day-night cycle.
Hermione wants you to meet her in the girls' bathroom on the 2nd floor. She says she's got a plan to find out who the heir of Slytherin
actually,
is.
the day and night maps of all of these rooms are actually different maps.
2nd floor? Isn't that supposed to be haunted?
So, for things like, we're going to the 2nd floor bathroom. The 2nd floor bathroom during the day and during the night are two separate maps entirely. And that actually causes issues with a potential glitch we could do at this point in the run. So, I'll talk about it when I get to the bathroom because it's easier to explain there. Second floor. So this bathroom also houses where the final boss is in the game. Normally what would happen is you'd come here later in the game, there'd be a cutscene and it would warp you down to where the final boss is. That area is always loaded during the night. It's not. It doesn't exist during the daytime map, but it's on the nighttime map all times. So if we could clip out of bounds, we could potentially jump down, and if the boss fight is active, we could fight the boss at this point in the game.
Find out who the heir of Slytherin is, so we can discover who wants all the students with
we
non-magical
have
powers
ways
out
of clipping out of
Hogwarts.
bounds on the daytime map. Unfortunately, none of them work on the nighttime map.
One of us needs to get Malfoy.
None at all.
Few questions without him realizing it's
Like you can
That's what I was thinking.
use a
Just why I've been
technique
making
called
a polyjuice
cutscene
potion.
storage or loading storage, which
Transforms
depending on
into
what you're
somebody
using to
else.
cause it.
One of us could change into
Where
a
if you
Slytherin,
quit out of the
and Malfoy
game
would probably tell us anything we
as a
want to
cutscene
know.
is
I
loading,
managed to
the
sneak
game
into
will store
Goyle's
the
head
coordinates
during
of where you get put
Transfiguration
after the
class.
cutscene's
I
finished.
mixed it into this. One
And
sip,
you can
Harry,
do that,
and you'll look just
open up
like
a new
Goyle.
file,
Oh, great.
and then do any action where you get put into a set position, so like opening a chest, opening a cupboard, entering another cutscene, any of those actions, and once you do that, rather than put you in the correct coordinates, the game will put you into the stored coordinates.
He's usually lurking about the dungeons this
So you
time
can
of
use
night.
that to get out of bounds in a lot of places. And it's possible on the daytime map of the bathroom because there are 2 chests on the daytime map. However, because they didn't want you to grab duplicate cards, they took the chests away from the nighttime map. That means, unfortunately, there's nothing in that room to use to activate the loading storage. And you'd think, like, well, there's cutscenes that happen, so maybe you could use those, but for some reason the game added an extra check on those cutscenes only. There are 2 rooms in the game where the game does extra checks for some reason. One of them is that bathroom and the other one is the common room. So, unfortunately, it's not possible to use cutscenes to get out of bounds in either of those rooms. Hopefully that made sense.
Did you know that Draco's looking for you?
But if anyone's looking to like do glitch hunting in a new game,
Boy. I haven't got all night.
come and join a Discord for this game and find a way to get out of bounds.
I'm surprised the Daily Prophet hasn't reported what's going on here.
And I will pay you in,
Suppose Dumbledore's trying to hush it
I don't
all
know,
up.
runs.
He'll be sanding
All I
about
have to
stuff.
pay with.
Fathers
always said old Dumbledore's the worst thing that ever happened to Hogwarts. He loves that non-magical lot. A decent headmaster would never have let that jumped-up Granger mudblood in. And as for Saint Potter, the mudblood's friend, he's another one with no proper wizard feeling.
So in this cutscene, we get to witness the amazing voice acting of Harry Goyle.
I wish I knew who it is. I could help them.
You must have some idea who's behind it all.
You know I
You
haven't,
must
Goyle.
have some
How many
idea
times
who's
do I have to
behind
tell
it
you?
all.
But I know one thing.
Because that's how
Last
people
time
talk.
The Chamber of Secrets was opened, a mudblood girl died. So I bet it's only a matter of time before one of them's killed this time. I hope it's Granger.
Anyway,
Draco's a horrible person.
I'd best be going.
Like, in the film, he's not as bad, but in the book and the games, he is like I wish death upon everyone.
Yes.
The books, he's awful. The books, he is a terrible person.
I've got a stomachache, and I need to get something for it.
Get going, Goyle, before your fat belly explodes.
So we have more sneaking here.
I'd
But
better
once
get
again,
out
it's
of here,
sneaking, so it's
and
not actual
fast.
sneaking. By casting Flipendo at this wall, we can get him to turn around.
Someone's sneaking around here.
Oh, good RNG. So for some reason, there's a prefect that walks around that room that can be at a different point in his cycle. I believe it's to do with like how you enter the room and interact with people, but I haven't tested it properly. But sometimes he'll be in a position where if you try and do that fast strat, he'll catch you on your way out the door. Honestly, like, these games are actually not as easy as, without sounding really vain, not as easy as I make them look in certain places. And also, we skip a lot of the more challenging sections, like Avifors. Avifors is the
It isn't him.
worst
That was
part
not the heir of Slytherin.
in a casual run, in my opinion.
He must
And we
be.
skip the entire challenge.
Who else could it be? I don't know.
And then the stealth sections just
It's
require
someone who was here at Hogwarts
knowing that the
50
prefects
years
take
ago,
the same
when
path
the
every
chamber
single
was
time.
last opened.
Well done, Harry. You did a great
And on
job.
PS2, the
See you
prefects
in
are
the
much
morning.
worse.
Night, Harry.
Like, I struggle with PS2 prefects a lot. Yes. I have a cat.
Hufflepuff.
I like both, though. I like cats and dogs.
Ravenclaw.
Now we have more cutscene RNG. You want like, on these ones, you want them to stay within the same tens unit. So you want them to go from, like, 223 to 229, like they did there, because then it requires the least number of turns.
Hello, Ron. What class have we got first today? It's Chance.
I need to do that. I've been putting
Are
off
you on the second
relearning the
floor?
PS2 version. That's the first Harry Potter game I ever ran, was the PS2 version of this. And I ran it once and never ran it again. Cool, so now we have our final spell challenge. Because we only get 3 in this game, which is sad. But good for speedruns, because it means that the game is shorter. And the goal is always to have the shortest game. And this challenge is the one where there is a exclusive skip on the GameCube version. That is not possible on Xbox.
Good morning, class. Today's lesson will most assuredly involve us in learning how to cast the appositely named Bluebell Flames. The proper incantation for this charm is Incendio. You will now see that a crawl space has been revealed in the wall. Beyond this is the Incendio challenge. Mr. Potter, if you wouldn't mind coming forward, please. The Incendio spellbook is located on the other side of the crawl space. Once you've managed to collect it, the Incendio charm will be yours. You must then return here to the classroom.
This is
You
the longest
understand,
challenge in the
Mr. Potter?
speedrun, which makes sense because the other 2 challenges were like 5
Very
seconds
well
long.
then. Off you jolly well go.
And this one we actually have to do stuff in sort of intended. Not really, but we do some intended stuff. There's a good door opening animation where Harry opens the door without actually opening the door. Now we have our second gargoyle fight. Now we have more Ganondorf. So what the game intends you to do is wait for these like overhead ones and then use them to volley. However, you can hit the other ones, but some of them are a lot harder to hit than others, so some of them we just skip for practicality's sake. So the thing, I didn't really need to grab the potion because I haven't really lost any health this run. And now we have the final gargoyle fight, which is exactly the same as the second one. And the reason you cast Flipendo is because it skips the gargoyle doing its animations between attacks. So sometimes it can do like tuning animations, but by casting Flipendo it skips those animations for some reason. Oh no, I didn't realise that was a thing. So apparently if you pause the game whilst the gargoyle is being hit, it won't register as a hit, which is good to know. So here we have our final, what you'd call a big skip. So the Xbox still has a skip in this challenge, it's just not as big. What we want to do here is line ourselves up with this. And then we can use that to push the door back up and just climb through. And that skips an entire gargoyle fight. I'll take the falling down into the pit there. Oh, that's not the right button. It also has an added benefit though, because normally there would be cutscenes associated with fighting the gargoyle and having the other door open. Because we skipped that, it skips every other cutscene in this challenge. All these flashes you see on the screen are cutscenes that are meant to be loading, but just do not load. There's meant to be cutscenes of like these pillars going down, and those fires up there are meant to cross across, but it skips those completely. And that was one of the first tricks found in the game. And finally, what we can do here, rather than do them one at a time, oh, I forgot to push these up. I'm bad. That was not good gameplay from me. There we go. I need to hit these. We'll do that again. But like, you can just walk straight past these. You can also, the easier way of doing it is you can take damage and then just walk through the fire. But that's slightly quicker because you don't take damage and you don't have like the knockback animation. It's better to do it that way. And that's the challenge done. Yeah, a lot of the well, I say a lot of, I personally believe that all the early Harry Potter games have interesting runs, to be honest. Like, the ones on DS are awful. And shouldn't be in marathons.
Potter, 40
Other than that,
to Gryffindor.
That is all
Other
for
than that, the
today.
games are good.
Class dismissed. There you are, Potter. Just thought I'd remind you we've got a Quidditch match against Ravenclaw. I'll meet you outside the stadium. Hurry along.
I agree, Anime. There are good runners that need more runners. Especially 2 and 3. So the weird thing about that challenge, like you saw in Avifors, I literally from the beginning of the challenge just jumped straight to the end, didn't get the spell book, didn't do anything else left, and it let me continue. You can do the same thing in that challenge on GameCube. You can clip out of bounds and just leave. But for some reason on GameCube, doing that doesn't let you continue the game. It soft locks the game. You have to get the spellbook first, and you have to hit the switches and put the fires out. It won't let you skip doing that. So if that was possible to skip on GameCube, GameCube would definitively be the faster version, but because it doesn't let you do that, you can't, unfortunately. Oh, time for our fourth Quidditch match. I count the first one as 2. Oh, that was not good. You want to avoid being hit because it takes away speed, so it takes longer to boost. On PS2, it's quicker to lose the matches because the enemy AI is a lot better. They take so long to catch a snitch on this version, though, that it's just not worth it waiting. Hopefully I didn't do that too early. Oh, that's not good. Where is it? Let me just concentrate on getting the snitch. Yeah, please catch the snitch. Please. Harry. Yeah, see, so like that. He didn't let me catch the snitch, so I have to chase after it again.
Nice catch there by the Ravenclaw chaser. Oh, Spinette must be wishing she was somewhere else after that tackle. The ball was passed along the line of chasers. That tackle was so hard, it almost knocked Bell off the...
This is a bad Quidditch match, this is. And also, even though it doesn't look like it at the moment, controlling Harry during Quidditch is a nightmare. Oh, I got hit by a bludger which took away all my speed. Okay, please catch the snitch. Thank you. It's honestly like, I don't know why they programmed it that way. On PS2, if you go to catch the snitch, there's no lag between pressing A and trying to catch the snitch. So if you press A and the snitch is in front of you, you will catch it on PS2.
What a match! Those Ravenclaws didn't know what hit them. Anyway, I don't know about you, but I'm worn out just from cheering. I'm going to bed.
Oh, Pokemon Stadium is awful for that, though.
Gryffindor.
Like, Pokemon Stadium has so much just like... They're down to our last Pokemon! That was my impression of a
Hufflepuff.
Pokemon Stadium announcer. Thank you very much. I will accept my money through...
Ravenclaw.
PayPal.
Slytherin.
I just hate the fact that, like, they go, like, time your wipe at the snitch and you'll grab it. And it's like, no, you can't. It's not possible.
Hey, Harry, what do you think of this? I was on my way back to the dormitory when I heard moaning Marta in her bathroom. Apparently, someone had tried to flush it down her toilet. She was in a right...
Oh, what is it? Something about
Careful.
the remaining side.
It's very dangerous. Well, we won't find out unless we look at it. It looks like an old diary.
Well, it's been so long since I played Stadium.
TMV. Riddle? Hang on. I know that name. T.M. Riddle got an award for special services for the school 50 years ago. I know that because
He's a player.
polished his shield
Something,
about
something.
50 times in detention.
Well, whoever he was, he didn't write in it. It's completely blank.
I wonder why someone wanted to try and get rid of it then. Weird.
Harry went to bed before anyone else in his dormitory that night, mainly because he wanted to examine Riddle's diary. He sat on his four-poster and flicked through the blank pages until...
Hello, Harry.
So now we're just finding out about
My name is Tom Riddle.
Tom Riddle. I won't spoil who Tom Riddle is.
Do you know about the
Tom
Chamber of
Riddle
Secrets?
and his diary.
Of course I know about the Chamber of Secrets. In my 5th year, the chamber was opened and the monster killed a girl. I caught the person who'd opened the chamber and he was expelled.
If you want to waste some time, I can show off
take you inside my memory
like I can show off the quickest glitchless softlock in the game.
Harry sat
Do you want me to
by
kill a
the
bit of time
memory
after the
Tom
run if I
Riddle
finish
showed
early?
him.
Evening, Hagrid.
What are you doing?
For like
down
8
here,
minutes or
Tom?
so. 8-9 minutes.
It's all over. I don't think you meant to kill anyone. But monsters don't make good pets now, do they?
It never killed no one.
Come on. The least Hogwarts can do is make sure the thing that killed that girl is slaughtered.
It wasn't him. He wouldn't. He never. No!
It was Hagrid, Ron. Hagrid opened the Chamber of Secrets 50 years ago. Go tell Hermione.
This
I've
game
got
is
to
full
go
of
and
like
see Hagrid.
pointless, useless glitches that have no purpose in a speedrun but are cool nonetheless. And now we found out that Hagrid opened the Chamber of Secrets, so now we have to go and confront Hagrid. So for some reason, sometimes on these staircases, because that's sixth and because those two staircases are ones that can go up and down, you can sometimes get stutters on them for some reason. I'm not really sure what causes it, but it just happens randomly sometimes. Now we can head to Hagrid's hut. I'm just trying to remember Majora's Mask. Bridge. Well, the one on the way to the village, or the one like actually in the temple itself.
Bad business, Hagrid. A very bad business indeed. Things have gone far enough. As chairman of the school governors, I've simply got to act and send you away.
Away? Away to where? No, not the wizard prison.
Not
Azkaban. I'm afraid so. A dreadful thing, Dumbledore.
So this is a nice,
As
fun
of this
cutscene.
moment, You are suspended as headmaster of Hogwarts.
Dumbledore has been suspended.
If the governors want my removal, Lucius,
Hagrid.
I shall of course step aside.
No!
Hagrid's voice actor is the best thing in this game.
Find that I
No!
may truly have left this school when none here.
Yeah, cool. I'm thinking the same one then.
You will also find that help will always be given at Hogwarts to those who ask for it.
So, trying to be conspicuous, Hagrid's telling Harry how to get into the Forbidden Forest.
All they have to do would be to follow the spiders. That'd lead them right. That's the key to the whole thing. And that's all I'm saying.
Oh, Lucius would never have seen that. You threw a key through his head.
The Dementors waiting now, do we?
All right, I'm coming.
Yeah, like I said, I'm also happy to kill a bit of time if needed. So for some reason, even though they're gone, Harry decides to sneak. Because that makes sense. And now we get to go to the Forbidden Forest. I.e. the section that makes a damageless run of this game basically impossible. Because it is not possible to not take damage in this area. So these spiders spawn and they can shoot stuff at you. And if it hits you, you take damage and you fall over. And later on they get a lot more intense. Also, if they hit you in the right way, they can push you through walls and like through slopes, and basically they can really screw you over. I had a marathon run I did for...
Not exactly, but I'm a friend.
we have like a Harry Potter specific marathon every year. And I did a run for that where I got pushed out of bounds by a spider.
That's why I've come.
In trouble?
They think up at the school that Hagrid's been setting a
That was actually the first time I'd had that happen to me personally. But other people have had it happen before.
Years ago. Everyone thought that I
now we have Aragog,
was the monster that dwells in the chamber of
who obviously we will have to fight.
The
fight is,
the chamber and
I believe,
me free, which was why
Chamber of Secrets. Is it Chamber of Secrets or Philosopher's Stone on Game Boy Color?
So you
happening in the marathon.
Come from the Chamber of Secrets?
No, I come from a distant land, and Hagrid cared for me.
This is like one of the easier iterations of the Aragog fight.
Who was discovered in a bathroom, and I have not seen any of the castle apart from the cupboard.
This is easier, but it's also
if it wasn't you
completely RNG.
Girl, then what did kill her?
We shall not speak of it.
I'll just go then.
Go? I think not.
But
I cannot deny my children fresh.
So before we fight Aragog, we have to go around and burn his web. And there's a couple of task skips that we don't do because they're stupidly precise. There is actually a task of this game that was made in like 2015, I believe, which is a 219 on GameCube, which is, at the time, was insanely good. There's been like 20 minutes worth of times they found since then. Hopefully someday a new task will happen. There's also a task of Prisoner of Azkaban on GameCube as well, which is a cool task that I would recommend everyone go and watch. It has a lot of cool tricks. Yeah, so when the old task was made, a lot of the skips that we do now, so like the whole Aberforce skip, jumping up the cage right at the beginning, going through the tree in Whomping Willow, the Incendio skip, a lot of skips just weren't known at the time. Back when the task was released, world record on GameCube was a 232, and the GameCube world record with loads is now a 213, I believe. So a lot's been found. This game's like gone through like eras of runners. So there was VGM, then there was Robman, Rusty, me. And there's actually been, recently there's been an influx of a couple of new people as well, which is nice. It's always good to have new people coming to the game. Okay, will I get the soft lock? No soft lock. So sometimes you can soft lock on that last web, so the game will just decide not to take you to Aragog. And it, 99.9 million% of the time, it happens because you've gone to Aragog already on another file. So it's like, if you fight Aragog and then load up another file, it will softlock the game. Sometimes it can happen randomly though. So this fight is just RNG. Where is it gone? Like, we just have to wait for him to show his belly. Yeah, I had my potion, luckily. come on. We just have to wait. Like, there's not really much we can do. There we go. We have to wait for that to happen. And sometimes he can just show it to you straight away, like 4 times in a row. Also, the estimate is for Xbox is quite lenient. Xbox World Record is a 1:59 something, 10 or something. I don't know. Come on. There's not really much we can do here to speed this up, unfortunately. So this is the other like big RNG point in the run, and unfortunately it's right at the end, and you can lose minutes. Honestly, an Xbox TAS would be great. Come on, Aragog, just show me your stomach. Oh, what? Obviously, some marathons we have to get the worst RNG possible. That's how it works, right? Oh, this is taking forever. Like normally, like this is probably the worst one I've had in a long time. Oh, okay, so I took a death there. And if you die, you it resets Aragog's health to full. Come on, Aragog. Operate, please. The issue with RNG manip in this is that the RNG for Aragog is on a universal timer, a global timer, sorry, I should say. So I have looked into RNG manip, and I found, when I was testing on emulator, I found an RNG manipulation for it, and I was like, great, that works. But then I went to test it again on different seeds, and it just wouldn't work. So unfortunately, it's not something that's going to happen for a very long time, if it happens at all. There we go. Yeah, that took way too long.
Harry! Run!
So that fight in Quidditch are the reason I put the estimate quite a bit higher, because I would probably do like a 2:10 estimate. But that fight can just screw you over.
You're lucky to be alive.
We now know
There's not really much you can do to avoid it.
Chamber of Secrets. He was innocent. Wait a minute. Something Aragog said. Ron, that girl who died. Aragog said she was found in a bathroom. What if she never left the bathroom? What if she's still there?
You don't think? Not Moaning Myrtle.
It would make a lot of sense if it was.
Oh, in all the excitement, I forgot. Someone's been up to the dormitory and taken the diary.
What?
I went to look for Hermione, but I couldn't find her. When I got back to the dormitory, the diary was missing.
What?
Afraid so.
Now we have a lot more.
Only a Gryffindor could have.
Basically, the game sort of forgets that it was trying to tell the story, so it sort of shoves it all in at the end.
I'm off to bed.
Like, there's a long cutscene in a sec that's going to tell us like the entire like last third of the book.
It's my job.
And it doesn't matter which one we put the stink pellets over there because we don't use any more spells after this point. Like, we are actually done with spells.
Gryffindor.
Which is sad, but has to happen.
Ravenclaw.
100% we use a lot more because we do a lot of stuff after the natural story's finished.
Oh, I must have slept in. Oh no, the Quidditch match.
That's what friends are for. We fly into giant spider fights and save you. So there used to be a really cool skip we'd do here to skip a cutscene on the staircase. That involved abusing two doors that were close to each other to get out of bounds. And then jump around the cutscene, but because we have stink pellets, we don't do that anymore. We'd use, there's two doors here. And if you come out of one and then go into the other, like, the first frame possible, it doesn't give the game enough time to load the room on the other side, so it puts you out of bounds. And that's also not in the task, because that was found, like, as the task was being finished. But that skip, unfortunately, has no use anymore in a speedrun because we have stink pellets. And there's nowhere else in the game where that similar sort of thing is really possible. Now we have our final Quidditch match, which hopefully goes better than Ravenclaw match, because that was awful.
Hello there and welcome to the final game of the season. Slytherin versus Gryffindor. There's no love lost between these two teams.
Oh, that was not good. You can avoid that first one, but you have to time it at the right time.
Malfoy's been hit by a bludger. Superb.
Also, in this last match, the bludgers become a lot more aggressive. So it's very easy to just lose a lot of your speed to bludgers just not being nice.
Malfoy's been hit by a bludger. Angelina Johnson's taken a hard hit there. The quaffle is passed. Oh, that was a hard tackle on the Gryffindor chaser. QC's
Okay, please catch the snitch.
awesome today.
Come on, Harry. You can do it. Thank you. Nice. That was a decent Quidditch match.
Slytherin common room this evening.
And because of that, we get the Quidditch Cup.
It is with great pleasure that I present the Quidditch Cup to Gryffindor.
Chamber of Secrets is one of the better films, to be fair. I mean, it's not Prisoner of Azkaban, but it is a good film.
Harry, that was
Also, I believe the longest film out of all the Harry Potter films.
What? Hermione wasn't at the match?
No, I haven't seen her since she ran off this morning. I don't know. She's probably got her head stuck in a book somewhere. Anyway, I'm worn out. I'm off to bed.
Oh, you know, I agree. The book for 2 is much better than the film.
Gryffindor.
But then I think the books in general are better than the films for Harry Potter anyway.
Hufflepuff.
Also, I haven't mentioned it, but Hufflepuff are purple in this game for some reason.
Slytherin.
I guess because a lot of everything else is yellow. But who needs consistency between books, film, and games? Now we get a relatively longish cutscene that just explains what's going on in the game. It's like Hermione's dead, Ginny's missing.
But it gets worse.
There's a basilisk going around. You need to go to the bathroom.
She's been petrified. Huh?
Not like actually need to go to the bathroom. They need to go to Moaning Murder's bathroom. Not that they need to go to the bathroom.
McGonagall told me that they were doing I could to find Ginny. So, I went to see Hermione. I found a piece of paper in her hand. A page torn
This
from
should
an old
this
writing
should
book.
be finishing like
That must
hopefully
be
like
what she
10ish
did
minutes
when
under
Washington
estimate,
attacked.
which would be nice.
What was the page about? It was all about basilisks. They're giant snakes that live for hundreds of years. Apparently.
So with Harry Potter, actually, so I
by
can.
just staring at them.
I read all the books
Anything
except
else?
for Philosopher's Stone,
Spiders don't like them.
which makes sense.
They ran away
I
when
promise.
the basilisk was near. And there was something else.
And I've just recently started listening to the audiobooks, so I listened to the first one and the second one.
That's all, just pipes. Ron! This is it! This is the answer! The monster in the Chamber of Secrets is a basilisk! A giant snake! That's why I've been hearing the voice and nobody else has heard it. It's because I understand part
I run a lot of the games.
I think Ginny might be in the Chamber of Secrets.
Like if it's a Harry Potter game and it's not on PC, I probably run it. I haven't run any other PC games.
We've got to find her!
Okay, so what we need to know is how the basilisk's been getting round the place.
A giant snake. Surely someone would have seen it.
Pipes! Pipes, Ron! It's been using the plumbing! I've been hearing the voice inside the walls.
The entrance to the Chamber of Secrets. What if it's a bathroom? What if it's in
Moaning Myrtle's bathroom?
Okay.
I prefer the audiobooks because I just think it's easier to do it while you're doing other stuff.
I'll go first.
Like I listen to the books while I'm
Moaning Myrtle's
going
on
for
the
walks and
second
stuff.
floor.
Oh, I should probably move. So now we get to head to the last boss. It's one of the longer Harry Potter runs. Like, for Chamber of Secrets, I think it is the longest version of Chamber of Secrets. Wait, let me think. Yeah, no, it is. The shortest is PC. Then Game Boy Advance, then Game Boy Color, then PS1, then GameCube, Xbox, and then PS2.
What do you want this
I always forget that the PS2 is different. Like, I count it as the same game, but not. PS2 is the longest Harry Potter speedrun in general.
Because Olive Hornby was teasing me about my glasses. I was crying when I heard someone come in. It was a boy, and he began speaking a different language. I went to tell him to go to use his own bathroom. And
Yeah, I noticed it says Chamber of Secrets on the stream. Like, it's just writing the full title of all of these games isn't just trying to find space for it. It's just not nice.
over there, by the sinks.
Harry, say something! Something
So here
important.
we'll jump down to the final boss, but
Okay then.
the area is always loaded.
English.
I'm going down there.
Great line coming up. Harry jumps down. That's how low it is.
Oh, I must be miles under the school.
He literally falls like 2 centimeters and is like, I must be miles under the school.
Ginny?
She won't wait.
Tom? Tom Riddle?
She's still alive, but only just.
Oh look, it's Tom Riddle. I wonder who he is. Who could Tom Riddle be? No spoilers, please. I haven't played this game before. This is my first blind playthrough, so I don't know what's going on.
About the real reason Ginny's like this. She's been writing in the diary.
Ginny's dead, but she's
My
blinking.
diary for months. I grew stronger and stronger.
She's fine.
on
I'm
the
sure she's
diet of
okay.
her deepest fears until I had enough power to start pouring a little of my soul back into her.
What do you mean?
Ginny Weasley opened the Chamber of Secrets. She daubed
No, we
the
also didn't
messages on
invite
the
Gilderoy
walls,
Lockhart to come
except
with
the
us.
Serpent of Slytherin
We haven't
and the
seen him in
mudbloods
like
that
an
really
hour.
had this nick.
No!
I'm afraid so. Ginny told me all about you, Harry. So I decided to show you my famous capture of that great oaf Hagrid.
You
to gain your
framed
trust.
Hagrid!
Framed Hagrid!
Yes, but you, Harry Potter. How
My
is it
favourite
that
line in the
you
entire game
managed
is
to
coming up in a
defeat
sec.
The greatest wizard of all time.
Why do you care?
Haven't you realised?
The most
yet?
British line in the entire game.
I am Lord Voldemort, the greatest
we go.
sorcerer in the world.
Sorry to disappoint you in all that, but the greatest sorcerer in the
It's just
world,
the
Albus
sorry to
Dumbledore.
disappoint you in all that.
Dumbledore's been driven out of
Just adding on the
Hogwarts
and
by
all of that
mere
at the end.
memory of me.
as you might think.
To business, Harry. I'm going to teach you a little lesson.
So
Let's match
this
the
fight's
powers
really
of Lord
interesting.
Voldemort, heir of
Not
Salazar
in
Slytherin,
terms of like the actual fight
against
itself, but
the
in terms of
famous Harry Potter.
how it could
Kill
work.
him.
For a task, there's actually a task version of this fight, which isn't in the published task, which is actually 55 seconds faster for this fight. However, it is not possible RTA because it requires relying entirely on RNG, and the RNG has never been favourable in practice at all.
Kill him.
I can do one here. So, how this fight works is that each time the snake pops out of the hole, he will spit a number of attacks. And the number goes up by 1 each time he comes out of the hole. So he was meant to do 2 there. And then he'll do 3 the next time he comes out. And then 4 the next time he comes out. And then 5 and then 6. If you grab the sword as he's preparing to do his first attack, he will skip every other attack in his chain and just go straight to doing his vulnerable position. So theoretically you can just get one spit every single cycle. However, if you are not holding the sword when he comes out of the hole, it's completely random whether he will start attacking or not. And that RNG is not favourable at all. Like, it does not give you nice RNG ever. A task would obviously be able to manipulate it, but RTA, you just don't have any ability to do so because it's also on a global timer. So you can save a ton of time, like an absolute ton, in a task, but not in RTA. Unfortunately, we just have to sit here and wait for him to do a lot of spitting. And if you stand far away, what it's meant to do is it's meant to make you aim towards the mouth, so it will like move the sword's beam around. But if you stand close to the snake, it just keeps it auto-aimed.
Die, Harry Potter.
Where is he? There he is. He'll do 5 attacks here. And then, so this final phase, he'll always come out of the that center hole there because the cutscene that plays afterwards needs him to. That's a health there, but we don't need it. We're fine. This fight is very rare to die in this fight. I say very rare because I have died. You shouldn't die in this fight, I'll put it that way. Yeah, Tom Riddle is control because the snake's blind. He has to be like, kill him. But I don't know. This game doesn't worry about issues like making sense. Cool. So we defeated the snake. Magic happens. The snake's fang goes flying and lands directly in the book. Not like Harry being brave or anything. It's just complete fluke. And that kills Tom Riddle. And then Harry cuts Ginny in half with the sword.
Harry, oh Harry, I wanted to tell you. It was me, Harry. But I swear I didn't mean to. Riddle made me do it.
Oh, poor Ginny, she just lost her arm.
Riddle's finished. Come on, Ginny. Let's get out of here.
It's just like, they didn't bother too much with the animations and the character models because they just click to each other all the time. Also, time is coming up in like 30 seconds.
How are you feeling?
A lot better now, thanks.
We're very nearly at the end.
Really disappointed. With all that's happened, Professor McGonagall has cancelled this year's exams. I was really looking forward to doing all of that revision.
As you can see, Harry, Hermione's made a complete
Ron, she's just come out of a
recovery.
coma. Calm down.
Anyway, did you know that the House Cup is about to be awarded? The presentation's in the Great Hall.
Yeah, I hope we've got enough house points to beat Slytherin. I'd really love to see Malfoy's face if we managed to do it 2
Okay,
years
so
in a row.
I'll call time in like 5 seconds.
We'll go in.
Okay, so 3, 2, 1, time. Oh, and that is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Of another most eventful year at
So we just at the end of this, there's a cutscene that
And
explains
so, for their many
who's won the House Cup, rigs the game, rigs the House Cup. 205.29. That is not that bad for a marathon run.
House Cup to Gryffindor.
Loadless, that would be like a 1:56, which would put me at like 4th place. That's a really decent run actually. I'm really happy with how that went. Like the only things that really lost time were RNG things, so I can't really moan.
Harry told them.
Oh, we get a cutscene at the end where
for nearly a quarter
we get
of an
explained
hour,
what's
he
happening.
spoke into the rapt silence. He told them about hearing the disembodied
Cool, I'll show off,
voice, how Hermione had finally realised that he was
wait for
hearing a
this to finish.
basilisk in the pipes. How he and Ron,
I'll show off
following a
the
hint from Hagrid, had followed the spiders
quickest
into the
glitch the stop
forest.
block.
That Aragog had told them where
Means
the
we get to
last
watch the beginning of the
victim
run again.
basilisk, 50 years before, had died. How he had guessed that Moaning Myrtle had been the victim, and that the entrance to the basilisk,
Have to wait for this cutscene to finish.
the Chamber of Secrets, might be in.
And
her
as for Harry,
bathroom.
he really was the boy who lived.
How did you all get out of there alive?
Well, it had a lot to do with loyalty and friendship.
And courage. Harry, you can't forget that.
Yes, and
It's annoying
courage too.
this cutscene isn't skippable.
Professor Dumbledore explained that 50 years ago, Lord Voldemort, as the 16-year-old Tom Riddle, had enchanted his diary, and that diary had enchanted Ginny. For it was Lucius
Okay, I think we're at the end
Malfoy who had
of the
planted
cutscene
Tom
nearly.
Riddle's diary on the hapless Ginny Weasley. And as for
There we go.
Harry, well, once again, he truly was the boy who lived.
Also, like maybe a fun fact, for some reason, if you complete the game and then sit on the title screen and it tries to load the opening advertising cutscene, the game crashes. Don't ask me why. But it's a well-designed game. We would have to watch. We would have to play through the first 6 minutes of the game, as long as it's not going to take us 2 over.
Did any of you ever give a thought of how worried I'd be?
But-
Beds empty, no note, car gone. Could have crashed.
Mum,
Out of my mind with worry. Did you care? Never. As long as I've lived. Mum. Now get outside and start denoming. I've had it up to here with all of you. Except you, of course, Harry. I'm not cross with you.
You ready to do a bit of denoming then, Harry? Well, I'm not sure, Ron. I've been with Dursleys so much this summer, I'm a little rusty. That was truly smashing, Harry.
Oh, when you're ready, we'll meet you in the barn.
There are gnomes everywhere. Ugh.
Look, they're up in the rafters. Okay, Harry, target the little pests and flipendo
It's just
them off
like
the rafter.
you'll see the first 6 minutes of the actual game again.
Nice shot.
Oh.
That was pretty good, Harry. You've got the little pests on the run.
They're heading for the garden.
We'll meet you out in the barnyard.
Yeah, she loves Harry. She's like, oh Harry, you're lovely.
Harry, we'd like you
To be fair, Harry
use
hasn't
our
really done
washing
anything
machine.
wong in this situation.
Dad tried charming it.
He's been broken
Now
out of
it's
his house with
anything
his
but
abusive
charming.
step-parents.
This is a good opportunity to practice some dueling.
Dueling?
And watch out when the washing machine opens its door.
And keep moving around it and cast for Pendo when the door is open.
Yeah, it's really weird that you can hit underneath rather than directly in front of. Oh, I've got good RNG again.
Almost got it beaten, Harry. Watch out!
You can, I didn't mention before, but you can actually get double
Love to
hits.
see that in Aunt Petunia's
Like
kitchen.
unintentional double hits on that
You
washing
look
machine
like
fight.
you need a chocolate frog. Here you
And they've
go.
happened to, like, I think pretty much everyone has had them happen.
Right, let's
But
go
no one
throw
really knows
some
what causes
gnomes.
them.
We'll meet you in the garden
Even
when you're ready, Harry.
our resident Tassa in the community doesn't know what causes them specifically.
We need to get a move on with the denoming. Mum will go mad if she finds any gnomes left in the garden.
Look, there's one over there.
What you have
These
to do
really
is
smooth
flipendo them until they're dazed and confused.
animations
then you grab
from
hold of them
the
and
character
spin them
models
round.
are just lovely. They're great to watch.
And chuck them out of the garden.
Wow, I've got to try this.
Be my guest.
Can we do any better than
Remember,
last time?
flipendo
That's the
the gnome,
question.
pick it up, spin it round, and chuck it over the low wall.
I bet you can't throw a gnome as far as Fred did.
Or hit any of the targets in the fields over there.
Oh. Okay.
Give it another go.
I got 110. Better than I got last one. Like I said before, apart from the first two that are loaded, and that one that's on the wall, they all load in that bush.
You need to do better than that, Harry.
So you can just sort of camp by that bush and let them all
You need to do
come
better
out.
than that, Harry.
That was rubbish.
You do better, Ron. I did all the work.
Boys, time for bed. Big day tomorrow. Diagon Alley, then platform 9 and 3/4. For someone who's never degnomed before, you've done an excellent job, Harry. Almost as good as Gilderoy Lockhart himself.
Thanks, Mrs. Weasley.
They have a great
you
sound.
deserve a chocolate frog.
That was a cat. That was not a gnome sound. I apologise. Even though I've played this game
Mrs.
several times,
Weasley
I cannot.
woke them all early the following Wednesday.
I cannot redo a
She took a flower pot off
gnome
the
sound,
kitchen
unfortunately.
mantelpiece, and everyone grabbed a handful of flue powder. Harry had never travelled by flue powder before, and when he scattered the powder into the fireplace, he immediately swallowed a lot of hot ash.
Diagon Alley.
It felt as though he was being sucked down a giant plug hole. Harry tried to keep his eyes open.
This is actually,
but
yeah,
the
this game.
whirling made him feel
I have a
sick.
long history with this game.
He closed
I've
his
run it
eyes,
since
wishing it would stop.
2014,
And then
2015.
He fell.
I say that because I ran the PS2 version 2014, and then I got it on GameCube in 2015, but that was on PAL. And PAL used to lose like 10 minutes to NTSC. So we'll continue as normal for a sec. I'm gonna do another run and try and beat that last one I did. We have the time, don't we? We can just shift the schedule back a couple of hours.
Lucius and Draco Malfoy.
Touch nothing.
I was running this on, yeah. Back when I first did GameCube runs, I was running this on a UK PAL version of the game.
Magic is conducting more raids, and I have a few more items like this.
Yes, it does. Yeah, they're just going to run straight back in, but that's not my problem because I left the next day, and I don't ever go back, so I don't care. Looked like I did my job.
I'll expect you tomorrow at the manor to pick them up. Good day. Good day.
Oh, you mean this? Oh, you mean this version? Yeah, no, this is UK language. The NTSC version actually has 6 language options. 2 of them are English, US and UK, and then there's Spanish, German, French, and Italian, I believe. I have done runs in other languages for fun. but there's not really a huge difference in languages. It's like a couple of seconds maybe in certain places. I need that. Okay, so the soft lock is coming up in a sec, actually. Also, with this wall, if you play on PS3, because some PS3s are backwards compatible, if you play the PS2 version of the PS3, that wall soft locks the game. Like, you get stuck and you walk indefinitely, and the game won't work again. Oh, that's not good. So here comes the soft lock. So what we do is we climb up this ledge, and then we jump forwards, and that's it. And for some reason, if you do a forwards jump on that ledge, you get stuck falling backwards, but it won't ever take you off the ledge. And if you actually listen, I don't know if you can hear that in the mic, but you can't pause the game, you can't move, you can't turn the camera. You're stuck. So the only way to get out of this is by resetting the entire console. Yeah, that is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I'll let Harry just fall forever.
And there we have it. All right, StarrlightSims, this was really interesting. I thank you so much for running this.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on. There was some really awesome tricks. I love that the setup you did and I don't know the names of any of these things. The one you said it was TAS only